Physiology. So Mithran, a 29 years old marathon runner, had excessive practice session. During the run, there is an increase in his splanchnic vascular resistance. So which is responsible for sympathetic system. You're talking about sympathetic system during exercise. So the splanchnic vascular resistance happens here because of the alpha 1 activation, alpha 1 receptor activation. So while teaching, I told a patient, a person running, a lion is chasing a patient. During pharmacology we talked about it. Lion is chasing a person, so he's running, so his sympathetic drive is going to be overactive. So sympathetic drive means splanchnic resistance should be there. Splanchnic vascular resistance is an important point. So sympathetic drive, so alpha 1. Direct MCQ it is. Yoga Rajan, a 41 years old male who is hospitalized with ejection fraction of 0.4, a heartbeat. Some heartbeat is given, some ejection fraction is given, some cardiac output is given. You're going to calculate the EDV, end diastolic volume. So to calculate the EDV, you need to know stroke volume. To calculate the stroke volume, you need to know the cardiac output and heart rate. That is what is given here. So only the definition, only the formula you need to know. Stroke volume by ejection fraction is going to be the end diastolic volume. They are not going to provide you the stroke volume. They are going to provide you the cardiac output and heart rate. So divide the cardiac output by heart rate. So you'd be getting a stroke volume. So with that stroke volume, you're going to divide the ejection fraction. So stroke volume by ejection fraction is going to give you the end diastolic volume. So I'm not going to specify with this number. So any number could be given. So all you need to know is the formula here. If you know these two formula, your question should be smooth. So stroke volume is cardiac output by heart rate. EDV is SV by EF. Stroke volume by ejection fraction. Next is Mohammed Rafiq, a 40 years old male, presents to the emergency room after being shot in the arm. During his exercise. So his shirt is soaked with blood. Throughout his shirt is soaked with blood. So he has a blood pressure of around 70 by 40, which means a severe hypertension. The patient is in severe hypertension. So his heart rate is given here, 132. His skin is pale, cool to touch and moist. The patient is most likely experiencing. That is the MCQ. Is everyone clear with the MCQ here? So this case talks about hypovolemic shock. This case talks about hypovolemic shock. So there are two ways of asking the question. What is not seen in this MCQ? What is not seen in this patient? The answer is going to be increased stroke volume. That is not going to be seen in the patient. So what is going to be seen in the patient? The real question was, which of the following is not present in the patient? Which of the following the patient is not experiencing? The answer was increased stroke volume. So the options given were decreased stroke volume, decreased cardiac output, increased stroke volume, increased systemic vascular resistance. So obviously decreased stroke volume is going to be there, decreased cardiac output is going to be there because it's already having hypertension. So increased systemic vascular resistance again is going to be there to control the bleed. So that is very important. So the answer in that MCQ is going to be increased stroke volume because what he is not experiencing is being asked in the MCQ. So you need to know what are all present in hypovolemic shock. So in hypovolemic shock, the patient can have increased vascular resistance, decreased cardiac output. This is what is given here. Decreased cardiac output, decreased stroke volume, along with that decreased pulmonary capillary wedge pressure and decreased central venous pressure. So this is what you must memorize for your MCQ. This is highly important point. Increased systemic vascular resistance, decreased cardiac output, decreased stroke volume, decreased pulmonary capillary wedge pressure, decreased central venous pressure. Seen in hypovolemic shock. If you forget these points that is given above, that is okay. So you obviously know patient is in hypovolemic shock. How? One is hypotension, another is tachycardia. Hypotension plus tachycardia equals stroke. Along with that, his skin is pale, cool to touch, moist. They might give you this point or they might not give. Doesn't matter. Hypotension plus tachycardia equals shock. So patient is in shock, hypovolemic shock. So since the volume is lost, so the body would try to compensate. So it reduces the ways in which the patient can bleed further. So that's going to be increased resistance, decreased output, decreased stroke, decreased pulmonary capillary wedge pressure, decreased central venous pressure. The next MCQ is Joseph Raj, a 51-year-old man, presents to ED with sudden onset chest pain, profuse sweating, pain radiating to left shoulder. So they're all talking. A chest pain radiating to the left shoulder means it is MI. So ST elevation on a ECG means it's ST elevation MI. Along with that, they give elevated cardiac enzyme. ST elevation MI, I already told you don't even have to check the cardiac enzyme. So ST elevation MI is a direct diagnosis. So concerning his current pathophysiology, the changes that you would expect to see in this patient are, so what is going to happen? the cardiac function is going to get affected. So the decreased cardiac output is very important, and increased systemic vascular resistance is very important. So whatever is going to happen in hypovolemic shock, that is the same thing that's going to happen in an MI patient. So the MI patient is a straining heart. A straining heart cannot perform well. Without performance, the cardiac output is going to be drastically reduced, and then the increased systemic vascular resistance is also going to be there. So heart needs its own blood supply, as other organs need their own blood supply. So when the heart needs to be alive, so the heart would try to get its blood supply, steal its blood supply, and it is going to create a neovascularization. It's going to take time, but heart needs time for itself, because if the heart is dead, the entire body is dead. So that's what it will do. So instead of providing a lot of blood to other organs, it is going to keep the blood for itself. So decreased cardiac output and increased systemic vascular resistance. This is very, very essential for your MCQ. If you don't understand this concept, that is very tough. Is that okay? I repeat this in a simple way. So you need to understand this. I repeat it in a simple way. Heart is struggling. Heart is struggling. So what happens here? Heart thinks that, okay, I am struggling. So let me keep the blood to myself first, because I have to create my own blood vessels to protect myself. So what I am going to do is, imagine I am the heart. What I am going to do is, I am going to give less cardiac output. So I am going to give less blood to everyone. So you are all the systems, organ systems that I am having. So what you are going to do is, you are going to say that, okay, fine, we will survive with less blood. You take care of yourself. So there's going to be increased systemic vascular resistance. So since there's a lot of resistance, less blood is needed for the organs. So if I give less blood, all of your organs are happy. So you are saying, okay, fine, we have lesser times to survive in that, but still we'll give some time for you so that you can take care of yourself. So the heart is going to take care of itself. So the decreased cardiac output and increased vascular resistance plays a vital role in that part. Is that clear? The next patient is Rukmani Devi, a 52 years old woman who has pulmonary embolism. So we are talking about a patient with pulmonary embolism that completely blocks blood flow to her left lung. What happens during this gas exchange? So what happens because of this? So this is a very rare MCQ. I don't think so you'll be getting this, but still one point I would like to say. So pulmonary embolism we are talking about. So you need to know the alveolar PO2 of the right lung is unaffected. That is very important. Alveolar partial pressure of oxygen in right lung is unaffected. That is very important in a pulmonary embolism. The blood flow to her left lung is compromised. So alveolar PO2 in the right lung is unaffected. So since there is no, I said RA-RB dilatation happens in pulmonary emboli. So since there is no blood flow to the left lung, so the gas exchange cannot happen in the alveolar air and the pulmonary capillary blood in the left lung. So consequently, oxygen is not being added to the capillary blood. So alveolar PO2 in the left lung will be equal to the PO2 of the inspired air. So directly this is a point, but you need to know the right lung alveolar PO2 is not going to be affected. Is that okay?